standing, we're going to take the stand gun. In love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty height attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, you may please have your seat and welcome.
On the unveiling of its new 5-story secretariat within 17 months. He sends his very best wishes to the Institute and says he will continue to lend support to the Institute as he has done before. And he also wishes the Institute, the President and members, a very good celebration, continuous growth, and God's lead. And he prays to Almighty God that this 50th anniversary celebrations will be very, very successful. And he wishes all of you the best of his greetings. Thank you, and God bless.
I would like to call in right now.
Also, former governor of welcome the bishop. I'd like to welcome the Emir of Dwab, finding time to praise his occasion. I'm grateful, sir, all be at very short notice. I'd also like to welcome the representative of the Aujale of Jebulani, Sikiru Adeton, every represented by his first son, Prince Adeton. I'd like to welcome the president of sister organizations, sister institutions. Starting from the president of the Nigerian Church of Engineers, my good friend, president of the Land Surveying Institute, the Nigerian School of Surveyors, my good friend also, President Charles. Past president of the Nigerian Church of Engineer Femi Olarufemi. Much welcoming. First, I would like to start my address by calling this occasion. This occasion as testimony of capacity and prowess of the Nigerian political surveyors. So we all share in the reason why we're here today. It's a testimony of what the Nigerian political surveyors are doing and can still do more. So I'd like to acknowledge the grace of the Almighty God who has made today possible, who has brought all of us here safely, who has made the weather to be very good to us today. Give him all the glory. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of all fellows here, all past presidents of the Institute, and by no other, past president, IG, Emeka Seminar. Past President Samuel Yowene, Past President Hussein Diko, Past President Joseph Olusegun Ajani, Past President Francis Adetola, Past President Chief Felix Okereke Okere, President John Agele Alufohai, Past President Britain Oladapo, past president, the past president, and the only Madam President. Welcome, Madam.
I don't know you.
She doesn't know. No, we don't know her.
Please sit down. We thank you profusely. We can never thank you enough. 2015, when the Institute was opportune to have our first female president, NIQS Mercy Tokwashe in your chair, PPN NIQS. Madam, please rise to be specially recognized. And I was elected as a deputy president to understudy her, to learn from her feet. She inherited this piece of land and a set of development plans for a proposed 10-story building, which was budgeted then at about 1.7 billion naira only. She put up a committee in place to saddled with developing the land. And guess who she chose as the chairman of that committee to carry that burden? My humble self. Indeed, the deputy president, who was still understudying her, she gave us that charge. She put up a committee. There was a committee put up comprising of 7 members with the powers to cohort more members to achieve that objective. So she set us out to go and charge to make this possible today. We are grateful for your foresight, Madam, and for the charge. The committee had its first meeting, and when the task to be done was reviewed, and also the financial status of the institute revealed to the committee members, the committee mesmerized and fizzled out, as it was obvious that raising billions of naira to build for NIQS was an Achillean task. Out of the committee members, only Mr. George Dike. Mr. George Dike, are you here? George Dike. Only Mr. George Dike and I in the committee felt very strongly that the objective can be met. So rather than throwing the towel, the committee therefore recommended to the institute that for many reasons, including, Mr. George Dike is here. Thank you very much. You can still manage the seat for us. Because we started it together. Our committee, the committee therefore recommended to the institute that for very many reasons, including the size of the land, which is barely 1,780 square meters, and the current environment, the institute should do only a 5-story building, whose construction must not exceed 2 years. And also for various reasons, and from our previous experiences of the Nigerian construction industry.
Projects and being quantity surveyors, we were very worried, knowledgeable and worried about abandoned projects. And ours should never be an abandoned project. The institute, under the leadership of Madam President Dwab, the institute, under the leadership of Madam President Dwab, agreed with the committee's recommendation and requested the project consultants to redesign a 5-story building. The project consultant
The project consultant, Mr. CCP, ably led by Architect Tayo Babalaki. Tayo Babalaki, can you please stand up to be recognized? They reversed the design and now gave us this 5-story development. Madam President Yocha sought the approval of the general members of the institute, which is a constitutional matter, at the AGM in Port Harcourt in 2016, November 2016. The AGM gave approval, as usual, but with comments on the design. Yes, we're approving, but the roof, don't do it that way, do it this way, because we're all knowledgeable about construction and reading design. The comments were very valid because they were bothered also about costing use, life cycle costing. So we passed these messages to the consultants. The institute was able to fence and effectively secure the land from encroachers and local farmers that we paid compensations to for their crops that we're going to uproot. So we settled those that were in the land. Now the current council came into leadership in November 2017, and at its retreat in January 2018, unanimously the Executive Council agreed and took the challenge to develop this land. May I recognize and thank the members of Executive. Members of Executive, NIQS, can you stand to be recognized? The Deputy President, Madam Mohamed Abato, Vice President, yes. Vice President, Yemi Shonubi, yes. The Secretary General is always on duty, pardon me, Debo Oyile, very active. The Treasurer, who found the resources for us to get to where we are. Yes. Musa Salau. Other members of council. Yes, please all rise up. I can't start. We are about 24. If I should count, if I start mentioning your names, you will not finish with it. But we all, this is all our doing. Yes, Professor Kabir Bala, the president of Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, Common, is here with us present. Like I said when I was starting, this is not 50th anniversary speech. I cannot give 50th anniversary speech. I was not around in 1969. So I will allow past presidents to talk for us later today and in the evening at the dinner to tell us, to give us those 50th anniversary speeches. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it.
After 50 years, are we not going to say hands again? Past President, how many of us will be here? They will be thanking us. Wherever you are, to our past President. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about going into the unveiling of the structure proper. And I'll please like you to pay attention to please lead us with this unveiling progress. Please, a round of applause as we continue.
Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma, I do unveil this building to the glory of God and to humanity. And pray God that this building will be used in activities to further develop the course of this country.
A round of applause, please. Continue on the first floor. Thank you.
Microphone.
This plaque was officially unveiled by Lieutenant General Theophilus Yakubu Danjuma, former Minister of Defense, Federal Republic of Nigeria, this day, October 2019. be the glory.
This will be the council chambers for the executive. Of course, it is going to be multimedia compliant, IT compliant. This will be the president's office communicating. We're still going to have internal doors but for now we just said let's do what the best we can do. So we still need a lot of assistance. This is the general office of the secretariat. So the NIQS will be using, shall be hopefully, whatever the council will do. Hopefully it's designed that will take this floor and the ground floor. And the 3 floors in the middle to be rented out. So creating a service for the institute. We're hoping that QS Library will be at least one of the anchor tenants. So we are sure the QS Library and NIQS can link together and acknowledgement so if possible. But if not, we have 3 floors to let out and make income. For conference and for meeting, letting out meeting. But we're not going to just keep conference room empty. It should be rented out to whoever wants to use it for arbitration or for having project or whatever. For rent, yeah. Daily or hourly or daily, to rent them out. The book launch, the 15th. Yes. Apart from the one we went to, which had the president's office. Also, yes, that's a typical lettable floor. One of the 3. So we have 2 wings. That will be the door here. Unless we have conference. And then we have the general toilet facility on the other side. To be honest, we have a second staircase. So before they start telling us that we are not that health and safety compliant, the second staircase on this side. On this side, so from top to down, even to the basement. So, we'll just carry a little while on this floor, such that the chairs can be arranged for us. The chairs we use outside can be arranged for us also on the first floor. So, but in the meantime, this is a lettable. A typical lettable floor. On the 3 floors. Fully.
Those renting it will bring them.
Only if. Tri-partition. We are here. The landlord will be using it, so you can't do anything outside the landlord's approval. So the landlord should be here.
Managing Director of the Construction Company. The people that do this employment.
Tell us how you came about
the honor story project, NIQS, Nigeria Association of Multi-Sellers, they advertised for interested construction interests. We were interested and we tendered and we were given the job in April 2018. And today we are handing over the project.
how do you feel about today?
Well, it's a lifetime experience. Well, we did the project and record time. Contract period 18 months. Once I finish in 12 months, but the other 5 months we are for inclement weather and some other associated difficulties in having the construction. So it was quite on time, on target, and I think we have done a very good job as a plan. You can hear me the testimony.
Can you tell us about the cost estimation?
Well, the Costprudence is a project done by Nigerian State Force. You know, they have their own privacy protected testing project. We are virtually level contractors and the contractor is not
standing with me is, from my left, is Architect Tokwe. He's the architect of the project. This is Jennifer Omale. She's a quantity surveyor on the project. And this is George. ACC, she's from Association Force Consultant. And then me, my name is Otaru Joseph from Joseph Partners. And then George, also US from Joseph Partners. We supervise the project from foundation to where we are starting. Yeah, well, today is a day of joy, and we thank God Almighty for making this day an epic event. Because without God, we don't have achieved it. When we came here, it was just like what you are seeing behind me. So the place was cleared, and gradually we started off. And here we are seeing the structure standing. So the God alone knows it.
And the facilitator asked them, please, where do we have the highest concentration of wealth? Of course, the attendant said, some said in the major city centers, Wall Street, ABCD, somebody said African diamond mines, and so on. And the facilitator said, no, the cemetery. Because a lot of people died with wonderful and huge ideas that would have created and changed humanity. Because they refused to put them down. So, we thought that it would be necessary to put down our history, most especially after going through some slight crises and challenges. And there were some claims and counter-claims on who did what or who didn't do what. There is a historian, or rather a couple, who are historians, Ariel and Will Durant. Historians who know them, they've written quite a number of books. In one of the books, The Age of Faith, they said the historian always oversimplifies and hastily selects a manageable minority of facts and faces out of a crowd of souls and events whose multitudinous complexity he can never quite embrace or comprehend. So we have a history book which may not cover everything, but at least substantially it has captured the essence of our journey to today. The history book was written by a professor of history, Enoch Oedele. Now the choice of Enoch Oedele at that time was that one, he's a professor of history, so he writes a book professionally. Two, he has a daughter who's a conservator at postgraduate level. So you'll have sentiment for conserving. And we thought he'd be the best person to write our history. And that was what informed the choice of Professor Oedele. Professor Oedele, you're here?
20
Now, it wasn't an easy journey for him. What to track, especially the past presidents, beg sometimes to cajole, sometimes to, and sometimes he had to undertake several journeys to be able to get an interview and clarify certain facts. But how did all this start? When I was going through the archives of the Institute as a president, I realized that during the tenure of late Chief Isiadiso, he asked Chief Balogun, the first president, to please scribble down something for the history of this institute. At least the much he could remember. And he did. The second thing was, one day by the chapter of the NIQS was holding an annual event. They invited Chief Vincent Aga, who was the first Assistant Secretary General of the NIQS, to also tell them the history of the NIQS. That also, he put down something. The board, the Constitutional Service Registration Board, under President Duku, also commissioned some lecturers to put down something like the story or the history of conserving education in Nigeria. And Professor Michel, I think he's here, he chaired the committee. That also was there. And I said, look, if we don't have a comprehensive history of the institute, we don't want the treasures of conservation to be in the graveyard in some years to come. So we are lucky, quite a number of the players, active players, are still alive and strong. We thank God for that, and we're able to extract the much we did. Now, individual presidents and players and leaders can write their own stories. But this is a story that we have that will comprehensively present our common position. The committee that ran the project, it wasn't me alone, it was a committee that was set up. Every member of the committee played a significant role. The vice president of the institute, well, he wasn't the vice president then, Shonibi was a member. Former Secretary General of the Institute, Phoebe Balogun, another passionate member. The head of Department 17 in ABU's area, Associate Professor Plumley, was Secretary of the committee, and there was George Alabo, who was also a member, who was Secretary, Marketing and Corporate Affairs. These were the people that managed this process for the 4 years that we took to produce this book. So today, I am honored and glad to say we are presenting this book to the members of the NIQS, and we believe sincerely that the book would represent substantially our journey to date, especially, and they didn't know us. So we look at one of the books, got their contacts and called them, and they have produced these books at record time. So we also want to thank the publishers for this value. To suggest also to the incoming council and subsequent councils that will come that they should use this book as a lesson to where they want to take the institute in the next 50 years. Because according to the same Ariel and Will Durant, the couple, they describe history is the present. Sorry, the present is the past, rolled up for action. And the past is the present unfolded for understanding. So I want the incoming councils that will come after us to look at the trend build and please improve upon them. I want to thank you all for being here, and I hope you will support the process of studying out our history. And I want to believe that other professional bodies would also look at what we have done and also try and copy so that the history of our various professions will be documented for future. I recall what Coalition said. He said, forget the past and forfeit the future. Distinguished gentlemen, the Chairman of Education, Mr. President, I sincerely thank you and I welcome you all to this formal presentation of the book. Thank you. Sorry, there is also a video clip, and these video clips are going to be in flash drives. We're going to show just some slight portion of the video clips of some of the reminiscences of our leaders, and then whoever wants to buy the clip also is available later on.
Thank you. Round of applause once again. The media, are you ready with the audio clips? Ready? All right.
Post-colonial Nigeria, still in the socio-economic grip of the West, a group of professionals set out on a mission for change.
On this survey,
in the early 80s, when I realized that in my class there was only one lady, Gina Basic, blessed memory. And in the whole of the Department of Architecture, only 3 ladies. So that was why I supported that. Female architects in training, today, by 2014, outnumbered males in most schools of architecture. I tell you that in authority. I've lectured in Ahmadu Bello University last year for 14 years. And in all the classes, the girls outnumber the boys. And I've been on NIA accreditation to so many schools of architecture, and it's the same thing. The same. I got afraid. Maybe we now have to have an advocate on male architects of Nigeria, so as to check the imbalance. This book is a must-read for every library, and this book is a must-read for all works departments.
Thank you very much.
And I recommend this book as a very, very authentic effort. Thank you.
Your Royal Highness, my dear brother, Father Murtala, when architect Ibrahim Haruna was invited to my house by Murtala Ali very rudely, I told Murtala, Architect Ibrahim Haruna is my father. Why are you inviting? We should go to you. He said he's my senior brother. I said, we don't pass that. Because even if he was my senior brother, but he's married to my mother. So I call him Baba. So Architect Ibrahim Haruna, as you all know him, if you don't know him well, professionally, you better ask Muhammad Bashir Abubakar Tagiawa, he will tell you more. I'm sure he knows you better in terms of his screen all the time. quantity surveyors. As I used to hear them laugh over fees charges. When we see the fees charged by architects and we see our meager amount, as Bashir Tayawa would say in Hausa, Aila Adam Kekaba. Other very, I want to tell you, it's a very noble profession. If I will come back again, I will be a quantity surveyor. I'm very happy and I'm very proud to be a quantity surveyor. And I will tell you why. In the discharge of one's duty, if you see a well-trained quantity surveyor, there can be no word called failure. You can see from the discharge of the duties of some of our colleagues that have been given public office. For example, General Garba Ali Mohammed, former Minister of Works, my friend, roommate, well, he doesn't call me his friend anyway, I will stop there. My roommate and professional colleague and friend to your former president, Malam Hussein Diko, Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, even though his greatest critics cannot but agree and join with me that he has performed excellently well as a minister of the federal cabinet. This we must be proud of. He is being able to turn the events in this city to such a point that it can never go back to where it used to be. We must commend them for having done so much. And indeed, the discharge of our duties is very paramount to the development of this country. If you remember, AFRI Projects Consortium, I dare not call them with their acronyms for political reason. Well, you said it, not me. And you know how they were able to turn the events of things in this country. In every field of development, infrastructural development, in agriculture, in water resources, and what have you, that they have intervened in medicine, education, we'll be able to see very credible, positive development. We must commend them because they did very well and they are our colleagues, led by my younger brother, friend, Madam Ahmed Salihijo, blessed memory, with Murtala and their other colleagues. We thank you for making us proud, for making us happy. I'm so happy with your performance personally, and I'm sure Nigerians will remain very thankful for a very long time. For the first time, to be read by various groups of people, but not only to be read, for it to be instructive to all of us to learn, and for the learning to be useful to all of us. This is the only way forward. We must move forward. We must stop complaining. And finally, before I do the last thing I should do before I leave here, I want to beg of all of you. I have heard in the background from Murtala, which is truly what is happening. We build too many foundations of uncompleted projects. You need to be strong and resilient when you are in position of responsibility, to know what you can do and what you cannot do. And what you must do it to its conclusion, logically. If you don't do that, you become a failure. Because we will not eat foundation, neither will we eat uncompleted projects. A lot of this comes with politicians. We have a problem of weakness. We start this project and we will not continue, we will not complete it. I'll tell you one stupid little story. The Kaduna bypass was meant to be done in 1 year. I was very sad when one of my in-laws is the contractor to the bypass. He approached me to speak to the government to give them money so that they continue the project. I was shocked that the project is not completed. Why? Because this is a project that we should start and finish on time. A bypass should not take over 10 years. Please, whatever project you want to embark, and I advise all politicians that happen to be listening, in the name of the Almighty God, try to be strong in your character, to agree that whatever job you start, you want to finish it, both in terms of quality and quantity, and ensure that things are done for the good of the people. It's not good for us. We are starting this road, we are starting that road because we want to satisfy the yearnings and aspirations of the various electorate. At the end of the day, you do none of them to its logical conclusion, and nothing is beneficial to none of the communities. Please, we should be strong enough to make sure we are conclusive in our projects. It is very... Yesterday, when Murtala brought this, incidentally, when Murtala Aliyu brought this book, Senator Oji Kalu, former governor of Abia State, my former colleague, visited me with his little entourage at about 10:25. And then we went talking, and he said to me, because I am coming, he wants to come with me today. But I don't know the address. And Murtala was to bring me. So as we were meandering around the road towards here, it's an addressless thing. So I called him on arrival here to tell him that it's an addressless place. I cannot make you to come through this place. So he told me to buy his book for 2 million. So I will collect your 2 million ahead of time and give to you. I thank them for that. I thank you. Thank you. God bless you.
All right. To be part of history of the Nigerian Institute of Costprudence. I may not be fit, if not for the attire I'm wearing, to stand before senior colleagues of this caliber, because I'm too young to be in their midst. But thank God for whatever God designed. Alhamdulillah. I wish to express my sincere happiness to be part of the 50th anniversary of the Nigerian Institute of Costprudence and the book launch of this great institute. I feel struck of words because there are a lot of people that I'm seeing who I very much respect and indebted to them with much of thanks while I was in the Costprudence practice. However, I wish to use this opportunity to thank them very much for whatever contribution they've made in my career service as a Costprudence, which I'm proud to be one. And I will never be proud to be one. Despite the attire, there are times I will keep the attire aside and still be a country surveyor. Thank you very much for making me part of this history. I wish the Nigerian Institute of Country Surveyors a long life and progress. Thank you.
Everybody comes and starts. Gravity will be a problem, so let me prepare to write. It is indeed a great pleasure for the surveyors in Nigeria. When I say surveyors, I'm referring to the land surveyors. If you look at the Holy Book of the Christians, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, it says, and God surveyed the firmament. So surveying is the first profession in the world. And it become nearer to Nigeria. The Nigerian institution, not institute. Every other person is saying institute, but we say it is institution. The Nigerian Institution of Surveyors was formally formed in 1934. It was only in 1966 it changed its name to what it is. Mr. President, you have created that great synergy between you and most of us, especially in the building industry. And we think we should continue from here. We always meet at functions, at Castle, at ABBN, and we have also seen your style of leadership. You would like to break grounds, and I'm therefore not surprised that from being deputy president to president, this kind of edifice has been put up in 2 years. It is something a good number of us have to learn from you. That reminds me, the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors was given land in Miami in 2015, and up to now it has not been built. Unfortunately, I have not succeeded in fencing it, but I'm leaving office next June. I'm not likely to, but I hope my deputy will be able to continue from there and build something like this. Now we have BIM, Building Information Model, which now brings all of us in the build industry together. Technology has created this problem for each and every one of us by breaking grounds. All the boundaries have been broken, but there are still core areas where each professional body should hold strong. BIM will further consolidate our synergy and add value to what we deliver to the Nigerian public. I was not asked to come and launch, neither was I asked to come and make any remarks, but the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors would like to get a copy of this book for 500,000 naira. Thank you.
The fellows of this great institute that are present here, our royal father and your excellency, please let me stand by existing protocol. Now, for me, I'm indeed very grateful to the president of the Nigerian Institute of Quantity Surveyors. Like I said, my brother, Obafemi, quantity surveyor, Obafemi. Now, for me, when I came into the office and I saw a very big invitation card containing, well packaged, I was so, in fact, that's the best invitation card I've ever seen in my life. So it's very sweet. So when I looked at it and knowing what myself and himself has discussed on paper, I thought to myself that QS Obafemi Oluwole Onoshile, FNIQS, the president of the Nigeria Institute of Quantity Surveyors is indeed a great man. A great man because he did what our son, did. Our son was the president of former president of Egypt. One day he just woke up and decided that he was going to Israel, that he would go to Tel Aviv to meet the then Prime Minister. So I thought to myself, I'm indeed honored to be here. I thank you very much, Mr. President.
It was, to me, having your relations supporting your leadership, and they made a profound impact by coming to London for the anniversary. 50 seems to be a recurring decimal this year. I had to attend Ghana Institution of Surveyors, who celebrated their 50 in April. And whether you believe it or not, I'm celebrating 50 years of leaving secondary school this year. So I think the year 2019 is a very important year, and important for quantity surveyors. We've done extremely well. It's very heartwarming to see the history book being realized, and of course, for another edifice to rise in the name of Nigerian Quantity Surveyors. The model that was adopted when we first had this first secretariat in Lagos was to hijack a developer and say, come, please take it, use it, give us whenever you finish. And we had to be tenants, so to speak, for almost 25 years or 30 years when he was in occupation. But that was the model that would be adopted to build a secretariat. But as soon as we built that, that established, set a tone which has helped NIQS to be able to be among the big league of professionals. Today, I want, on behalf of Commonwealth Association of Surveying and Land Economy, congratulate NIQS, and especially President Onoshile is my very good boy, very good boy. For championing this important project. NIQS is making is at a significant turning point. For those who are coming behind, this is your must-read book so that it can help you to lead the institution in the right direction for the next 50 years. I congratulate NIQS.
Unfortunately, I've been called upon to represent the past presidents, though I'm the least of them all. I'm sure they won't mind what I will say on their behalf. On the behalf of the past presidents, I want to commend the president of the Nigerian Quantity Surveyors and his ESCO, and the president of the Quantity Surveyors Registration Board for two things: this edifice and the history book, both of which have been unveiled today. I want to especially comment on the two because they drove the two processes that culminated into what we are witnessing today. Alhaji Muazu, His Excellency, stood here. By the way, he's he was my classmate. He's a small boy, just like I'm a small boy. Even in school, he was very smart. He was smart enough to tell us that he's not the chief launcher. But whatever English you use, you are the chief launcher, you must get us the money as the chief launcher. You was Excellency, he is still Excellency. So we give God the glory for what has happened today. It is God's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. We, the past presidents, are very proud of these two achievements. But permit me to say a little bit about the two projects. We are proud that this project has been delivered. These two projects have been delivered to time with this specification and within the budget. And that's what we, the quantity surveyors, are known for. Good project managers. 4 years ago, where we were at number 20, Saad Zungur Street, we were told to quit. And that was when I just took over. So we had to quit. We got a new place just some few houses away. Luckily, so we didn't have to change the street number. 2 years after again, the landlord said we should quit. So we, at the Executive Council, we decided, why should we be moving from one rented apartment to another? When we are quantity surveyors, are we the poorest professionals? The answer was no. If we don't put our head to it, there's no way we can do it. It is when you face challenges that you look for a way out, solving your, mitigating your challenges. And so, we embarked on this project, and to the glory of God, today we may no longer be tenants, but also landlords.
Time and allowed me to their library and to get some information from them. I think the last person I interviewed is General Ihe Jerika. I visited him in his house and I interviewed him, and we exchanged some pleasantries. So all the people I interviewed, I came to see them as respectable and honorable people. So I regard the profession of quantity surveying as a very noble profession. Mr. President, your profession is a noble profession. Thank you all for your assistance, your support, and so on in the production of this book.